Okay, I grew up in the United States mostly. I wasn't born there, but I went to university in Tennessee. And after I graduated, I came back to my hometown, which was Redwood City, California. Redwood City is a suburb of San Francisco. And after I graduated from university, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I wanted to live, and I knew what kind of job I wanted. I wanted something related to my major, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to stay in California or go back to Tennessee. And if I was going to stay in California, which city would I live in? So there was a couple weeks there where I was just kind of just hanging out in my hometown, thinking things through and kind of deciding what to do with my life. And one day I was just walking around in downtown Redwood City near the train station. They have like a shopping plaza there. And I was just walking and I saw this amazingly gorgeous girl walking towards me. And she was just beaming. She had this like smile. Her face was just lit up. And she was looking at me. And she was just really exotic looking. She had jet black long hair, a very exotic looking face. It was like a kind of face I'd never seen before. And so she passed me, and then about 5 seconds went by and I kept on walking. And I was thinking, if that's not a signal, I don't know what is. So I went back and I started to talk to her, and I can't even remember what I said. But we just started talking, and then we exchanged phone numbers because this is like 1999, okay? And I didn't have a cell phone back then. Most people didn't in the United States. And we exchanged phone numbers, and we ended up getting together a couple nights later. We went out to dinner somewhere in Palo Alto. And we just talked, whatever. And I actually think I only met her, I met her that one time. And then I met her one more time on Christmas Day. And she didn't have a car, so we just hung out in my car, and I only met her for about an hour or so. And then she broke some kind of bad news to me. She said that she was going back to Japan the next day. And even though I'd only met her 2 times now and only spent a few hours with her, I don't know, I liked her. I was attracted to her, and I guess she liked me too. She was Japanese, and she had been studying English at an English language school in my hometown, Redwood City. And she had been there for, I don't know how long, 4 months maybe, 6 months. And we met like just a few days before she had to go back to Japan. So that last time we met on Christmas Day, I just gave her my home address, actually. And we just said goodbye, and that was that. It wasn't really romantic or anything. It was just like meeting a friend. And so I just went on with my life, and I ended up moving to San Diego, and I got a job in San Diego. Well, I started to go to school again, actually, to get a master's degree, and while I was doing that, I got a job as a taxi cab driver. So I was working as a taxi cab driver, like I would work 12-hour shifts from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. usually. And before my before my shift, I would go to school. And I just started this new life in San Diego. And so about a month after I had met her, I got a letter in the mail. And it was from her, and she said, "Oh, I had a really nice time meeting you. It was so fun, and I miss America." And then so I just sent her a letter back, and then we just started exchanging letters by postal mail. And so like every week or so, I would kind of look forward to getting a letter from her. And she was the first Japanese friend that I had ever had in my life. And she became a pretty consistent, like, pen pal, I guess. So I just went on with my life. I was working as a taxi cab driver and going to school. And the more I kind of got into her, the more I started to become curious about Japan. And so I started to take a Japanese language course. It was a 3-month course at a community college in San Diego. And that's when I just started learning, the basic greetings in Japanese, like konnichiwa, ohayo gozaimasu, arigato, like things like that, the simple words. And I also learned hiragana and katakana. So yeah, I just went on with my life, and I was writing to her every week, but I was also having a good time in San Diego. I was loving my life there. I was making about probably less than $1,500 a month, but I was able to pay my rent. I had a car. I was going to school. And I don't know, something just clicked in me, and now I remember what it was. So after we were exchanging letters, she started to call me, call my apartment. And so she would call me about once or twice a week just to check up on me. And she just had a really sweet voice, and I liked talking to her. She couldn't speak English so well, but she was just always so cheerful and bright when we talked on the phone. And I knew it was kind of expensive to call America, but still she did. And she kind of like, I don't know, I guess we just gravitated towards each other. And she eventually said that she wanted to come back to America to see me again. And she wanted to move in with me. And when she said she wanted to move in with me, alarm bells went off in my head. I was just like, I was flattered by her suggestion, but I was a little bit scared, to be completely honest. Because I was scared because I didn't really know her so well. I mean, in fact, I'd only met her 2 times and spent about probably 4 hours total with her. And it was just too fast for me, I guess. But she was so nice and so endearing that I just couldn't say no to her. I just couldn't say, you can't live with me, or I don't want to live with you. I couldn't say it. So I figured in my mind, I thought, well, maybe the best way to kind of resolve this conflict that I have is that I'll suggest that I go to Japan and I'll stay with her. And then if I don't like it, if I'm unhappy in that situation, I can just move out. And so that's what I suggested to her. And she was like, okay, let's give it a shot. So this is like 8 months later now. And I saved up a little bit of money, and I bought a plane ticket to Japan. I can't remember if I guess it was a round trip ticket. I don't know. And I brought all my stuff. I can't believe this. I brought my TV, my keyboard. I brought a lot of stuff on that flight. And I think it was August 15th in 1999. And it was like a, I don't know, 10 or 11 hour flight from San Francisco to Osaka, Japan. And I arrived in Japan and I didn't know anybody. I only knew her. And I thought, man, if she screws me, I'm going to be so screwed because I don't know anybody here. I don't know the language. I don't know anything. And so this is the beginning of my story about how I got to Japan. And it's actually gets more interesting, and I'll talk about that in later stories.